Okay.
Okay, ma. Thank you. ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्योजात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः शान्ति पाठ of the Upanishad. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Now we are almost coming to the last mantra of the first khanda of the second Mundaka in Mundakopanishad. Of course, we should not forget the name of the Upanishad that we are studying. A lot of people have a lot of confusion about Mundaka, Mandukya. What we are studying now is Mundakopanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. Now, here we saw that in the second Mundaka, first khanda, which we are seeing in detail, which we have already seen, 9 verses we have already seen, the section talked about Brahman being the Vivarta Upadana Karanam of this entire universe. So what did the Upanishad say? It says, Tasmat Aksharat. From that Akshara, what happens? The Panchabhutas came. Literally, as though the Panchabhutas, that is the subtle Panchabhutas, the 5 elements, were born from that Aksharam Brahma. Tasmat Aksharat Panchabhutani Jayante. From that, Panchabhutas, the Sukshma Prapancha, the Sukshma Sharira came into existence. Then, with a certain combination of these elements, the Sthula Prapancha called Virat, or the cosmic person, or the Samashti Sthula Prapancha came into existence. And the Upanishad chose to describe this Samashti Sthula Prapancha in the shape of the body of the Lord itself, in the shape of the body of Ishvara. Now you may ask, does Ishvara really have a body? Well, we imagine our gods to be in the shape of us. Of course, we do have some animal gods, plant gods, everything, but most of our deities, most of our Ishtadevatas are in some way, some human form or the other. And like in Vishwarupa Darshana, Lord Krishna showed himself to Arjuna as Vishwarupa, and what did Arjuna see? He saw the whole universe, everything in the body of Lord Krishna. Similarly here, the whole Samashti, which is called as the Samashti Sthula Prapancha, is explained in the form of a human shape with head and arms and prana and feet and heart and mind and everything. in the form of the body of the Lord, called as the Virat Purusha, or we can say cosmic person. If I project myself millions and millions of times, then that is a cosmic person. In the sense, it is Samashti, the total. This is the Vyashti Sharira. The Samashti Sthula Sharira becomes what is called as the Virat Purusha, the name given, Virat or Vishwa or Virat Purusha. And that was described. And then from there, the Smadakshara, all the sentient beings came into existence, non sentient things came into existence, all these things that were required for the Jagat which we are experiencing. Whatever Jagat we are experiencing, what is that Jagat? It is a combination of sentient beings, various kinds of jivas, and insentient objects, and also the jiva, the sentient being, experiencing the whole Jagat. Even the experience of the Jagat was brought in the form of that which arose from this Brahman. So, here, all this time, the Upanishad talked about the whole universe, literally starting from the Karana Prapancha, came up to everything, the millions of names and forms that are experienced in this universe are nothing but those that came from this Aksharam Purusha or Brahman. Now the doubt will come. Supposing something comes out of something else, if a Karyam, if the Jagat is Karyam, and if this Jagat has come out of Brahman, then Brahman becomes the Karanam. Then the Karanam has to change to become the Karyam. And the Upanishad already says that Brahman is the Vivarta Upadana Karanam. What is the meaning of this? Without undergoing any change, with the help of Maya, the whole material universe was nothing but a projection or a manifestation or an appearance in Brahman. And therefore, ultimately, what does the Upanishad say? What do our scriptures say? Initially, they ascribe Karanatvam for Brahman. They say Brahman is the Karanam and Jagat is the Karyam. Then our scriptures go to the next level of Vedantic teaching and say world really did not come out of Brahman, but Brahman manifested itself without undergoing any change into this universe. So, whatever is there here is nothing but a manifestation of Brahman. Whatever name and form we find here in the universe is nothing but the manifestation of this Brahman. Therefore, what is the Jagat? Jagat is Brahman. Why? Because all that is there in the Jagat is Brahman only, with only an added name and form. There are Upanishads like Chandogya Upanishads which say Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadheyam. A product is nothing but the cause with added names and forms. That's it. What is a shirt? It is a fabric with the added name and form. Correct? What is an ornament? It is nothing but gold which is manifesting in various shapes and forms and names called ornaments. Can you say the ornaments have come out of gold? Can you say that the ornaments go back to the gold? No, the ornaments are gold. Can you separate the ornaments from the gold? It's not possible. Can an ornament exist separately from the gold? It cannot exist. So what is it? It is the ornaments which are non-separate from the gold. Therefore, what do you call the ornament as? Do we say the ornament has come out of gold? Partly it is correct. Initially it is correct. But Vedanta wants us to broaden our outlook and say that and see that, understand that the ornament is nothing but gold with a name and form. So, what is an ornament? Initially, The Vedanta teaches me ornament comes from gold. But ultimately it tells me, does it really come out of gold? No. The Karanam gold is manifesting in various forms. The same Upadanam, the same material cause gold is manifesting in various forms called ornaments. So, do you now say the ornament has come out of the gold, or do you say the ornament is gold? So, Vedanta wants us to understand that all ornaments are nothing but gold. All waves have not come out of water. Initially, we say come out of water. Then we say waves have not come out of water. Waves are water with a particular shape and form. All the vessels made up of clay have not come out of the clay, but they are the very clay with different names and forms. Initially, till I am able to understand the cause and effect, the Upanishads, the scriptures tell us that Karyam comes out of Karanam. That is why here also the Jagat came out of that Aksharam Brahma. Tasmat Aksharat. From that Aksharam Brahma, this whole universe with various explanations in the 9 verses, I'm not going to repeat that. It has come out, it says. That is the first stage of teaching Vedanta called as Adhyaropa sentence. Adhyaropa means what? Here, I say that a karyam is coming out of karanam. And the next step, Vedanta tells me, examine this carefully. Has the karyam really come out of karanam? Or the karyam is merely a change in the name and form? Is an ornament really come out of gold? If it has come out of gold, then an ornament should be separable from the gold, correct? But ornament is inseparable from the gold. Ornament requires the gold for its existence. Therefore, though we are right initially in saying that ornaments come out of the gold, ultimate truth is what? The ornaments are nothing but the gold. Gold itself manifests in various names and forms. This second step of teaching where I don't see the Karanam and Karyam different from each other, that is what is called as the Apavada stage. So, what is the meaning of this now when we come to this Upanishad? Initially, with the first 9 verses of this chapter, this section, the Upanishad said, Tasmat Aksharat Yetat Sarvam Jayate. Everything is born out of this Aksharam Brahma, which is called as the Adhyaropa sentence. Adhyaropa Vakyam. Adhyaropa means what? You project or give a name and say, this is the Karanam, this is the Karyam. And then in the next step, in the Apavada step or in the Apavada Vakya, what the Upanishad does is, nothing has come out of Brahman because the universe cannot be separated from Brahman. The universe is entirely Brahman with the names and forms. So if you remove intellectually the names and forms, what remains is only Brahman. That is what is done in Neti Neti. Neti Neti, we have all heard. We have also talked about it earlier. When the Upanishads describe that Brahman is not this, not this, not this, not this, what is the Upanishad negating? The name and form is being negated. Ultimately, the Adhishtanam Brahma is the same. So, this method of teaching is what is called as Adhyaropa Apavada method of teaching, and all the Upanishads use this method. And this Upanishad has also used the Adhyaropa Vakyas in the first 9 verses, where the Upanishad says that everything has come out of Brahman. But the final verse, the last verse, which we are going to get into now. What the Upanishad says is, actually speaking, the Jagat is not the Karyam. Brahman is not the Karanam. Whatever is there is only the Karanam Brahma. That's only Brahman, which is nothing but manifesting in various names and forms. So, what is this Jagat? Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat. Sarvam Ishvaramayam Jagat. What is there is only Brahman. What we are transacting with is Anatma name and form. For a minute, if we can understand that, the name and form, that is the Jagat we call as Mithya, then what we are dealing with is Brahman only. We are dealing only with Brahman, nothing else. The Anatma body mind sense complex interacts with the Anatma name and form called as the Jagat. But what is the Adhishtanam? Atma, the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma here, that same consciousness which is called as Brahman with reference to the world outside. So whatever is there is only Brahman. Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahma. Brahman, neither the Karanam nor the Karyam, but that very consciousness which, with the help of Maya, manifests itself into various names and forms. Therefore, the entire universe is nothing but Brahman itself, unnegatable existence, consciousness, Brahman. This is going to be the summary of the last verse, the 10th verse, which is ultimately the teaching of all our scriptures in the form of the Adhyaropa Apavada method. So here we'll see the 10th verse. पुरुषये वेदं विश्वं कर्मतपो ब्रह्मपरामृतं ये तद्यो वेदनिहितं गुहायां सो अविद्या ग्रन्थिं विकिरति इह सौम्य. Somya, he's addressing Shaunaka, who Guru Angiras. Please don't forget. Three things one should not forget throughout. We are studying Mundakopanishad. First thing which we should not forget. Then the Guru is Angiras and the Shishya is Shaunaka. These three we should not forget. And what is the subject matter of this Mundakopanishad which is taught by Angiras to Shaunaka? It is all about this Aksharam Brahma, Brahma Vidya. And what is that Brahman? Nothing but I, myself, this consciousness itself. That is the ultimate teaching. So these three things we should not forget entirely throughout the study of this Upanishad. So here he says, Purusham yeva idam vishvam. This Vishwam, this entire universe is nothing but that Purusha. Another name for Brahman or Atma, Purusha. Many meanings are there for Purusha. A human being is called as a Purusha. A male person, a man is called Purusha. Okay? But Purusha is also another name for Brahman or Atma. Purusha eva idam sarvam. Why Atma is called as Purusha? Purayati sarvam iti Purushaha. Purayati sarvam. That which is all pervading and behind everything as its adhishtanam. Purayati sarvam. That which is present everywhere, that which gives existence to everything. Purayati sarvam iti Purushaha. Purishete iti Purushaha. That consciousness which is available to me in my own body mind sense complex. Purishete, Puri, Navadvare Pure, Puri, in the body mind sense complex. That which is available as the consciousness is also called as Purusha. Purushat na paran kinchit sa kashta sa paragatihi. Where did we see that? We saw that in Kathopanishad. There's nothing higher than this Purusha. When we go on negating the body, mind, sense complex, all the koshas, ultimately, what is that which is left which cannot be negated anymore? Purusha, or this consciousness. Purushat na parang kinchit. There is nothing other than higher than this Purusha. Sa kashta sa paragatihi. That is the ultimate. That is what is to be known. And that is what I am. So he says, Purusha eva idam vishvam. This entire Vishwam is nothing but that Purusha. Karma tapo brahma paramritam. This Brahman itself is all actions. All the actions are nothing but Brahman. All the Vedic rituals, all the religious actions, the spiritual actions, Laukika actions, all actions are nothing but Brahman. Then Tapo Brahma Paramritam, Karma and Tapaha, all disciplines, all branches of knowledge are nothing but this Brahma Paramritam. Ultimately, Param Amritam Brahma is this whole universe. Param, highest. Param means what? Parat Param. That means what? That is that Uttama Purusha of 15th chapter, which is the ultimate, which is of the highest order of reality. Neither the Kshara Purusha nor the Prakriti Maya, but of the highest order of reality, what is called as the Uttama Purusha, that is nothing but Brahma Paramritam. Param. Param means what? That which is the highest order of reality, the only truth. There is nothing other than this truth. Therefore, this entire universe, with all its karma, with all its disciplines, with all its phalas, with all its manifestations, is nothing but this Paramritam Brahma. Then what are we seeing here? What is this multiplicity, duality that we are seeing here? It is nothing but the names and forms, a mere manifestation, like the waves manifesting in water. What is a wave? Just a name and form for the same water. An ornament is a mere name and form for the same gold. Hundreds of clay vessels are nothing but names and forms for the same clay. Nothing other than that. Therefore, ultimately, the whole universe is nothing but tapo and tapaha, karmaha, idam vishwam, idam sarvam, brahma paramritam. Brahma also can mean all the Vedas also. So whatever is there here, Vedas, the karmas which are enjoined in the Vedas, the disciplines enjoined in the Vedas, everything is nothing but Purusham Yeva Idam. All the Vedas, Brahma can be here interpreted as Vedas also, is nothing but this Purusham Yeva Idam Vishwam Karma Tapo Brahma Paramritam. Purusha, Paramritam Purusha. This Purusha or this Brahman is that which is the ultimate. Then now the Upanishad brings Mahavakyam here. If that is Brahman there, is there something else which is aware of that Brahman? Is there a separate knower of Brahman? No, what he says is, Yetadyo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. The one who sees this Brahman, who was described as the Jagat Karanam Brahman, but this Brahman itself, who is nothing but this Jagat is nothing but this Brahman. This Brahman, where is it upalabdha for me? It's not something which I can objectify. I can objectify a name and form. But that name and form is a mere manifestation. What is it that is underlying every name and form, which is giving existence to this entire Jagat, which we called as Brahman? Where do I understand it? Where do I know it? Where this understanding takes place, where this very Brahman is upalabdha in me itself, available in me. Yetadyo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. The one who understands this Brahman as nothing but this I am in the Hridaya Guha. What is the meaning of Hridaya Guha? Buddhi. Buddhi is the place or the locus of understanding. And where is this buddhi? According to our scriptures, this buddhi or mind is not in the head, but it is in the Hridaya Guha. And it is in this Hridaya Guha, in the cave of the heart, this buddhi is lying. Why is it called a Hridaya Guha here? Guha. Guha is a cave. Guha is a dark place, unless lighted up by something. Similarly, my Hridaya Guha is dark because of ignorance. Mula avidya, ignorance. What is Mula avidya? We have already seen in Vivek Chudamani, in Katopanishad. I do not know who I am. I am unaware of my real nature. That is Mula Avidya. I take myself to be something other than what my real nature is. Mula Avidya. With this avidya, with this darkness of ignorance, it is as though my buddhi is dark. And what do the Upanishads do? What do our scriptures do? They light up this buddhi with Brahmajnanam. Brahmajnanam lights up this buddhi to understand that whatever is there here is nothing but Brahman. And that Brahman is this I am, this consciousness. I am is not different from that Adhishtanam Brahma, Jagat Adhishtanam Brahma. That is why Kaivalya Upanishad says, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. From me, everything appears. Everything appears in me. Everything exists in me. Everything resolves in me. What does that mean? Brahman. This is Mahavakyam. Aham Brahma Asmi. That Brahman, which is the Jagat Adhishtanam, is nothing but I, this consciousness, which is forever shining in this Hridaya Guha. And that which is shining in me as Ahamasmi in my Hridaya Guha is lighted up by this knowledge called as Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya. This is called as knowing it. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. Ye Tadyo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. We have another Upanishad called as the Taittiriya Upanishad, which says, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. Saha Ashnute Sarvan Kaman Saha Brahmana Vipaschiteti. Same sentence is used there in the Brahmanandavalli of of Taittiriya Upanishad also. So here he says, Yetadyo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. Yetad, knowing that Brahman to be this consciousness, Nihitam Guhayam, the one who knows Veda, Soha Avidya Granthim Vikirati Iha. This person who understands this Mahavakyam, Aham, this consciousness, is that Brahman which is not different from me. And this world, this Jagat, including my body, mind, sense complex, is nothing but a manifestation in this Jagat. So whatever is there is Atma Brahman or Brahman. Sarvam Brahmamayam. Who am I? I am Brahman. What is the Jagat? That is nothing but Brahman. Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat. This understanding leads to what? Avidya Granthim Vikirati Iha. Here and now, his ignorance is gone. And what is this ignorance causing me? Samsara. Isn't it? That is the hetu for samsara. That's the reason for samsara. Sahetukam samsaram, it dissolves. Sahetukam. Along with the hetu, along with the cause, this Brahmajnanam destroys or removes this samsara of sorrow, moha and sorrow. Sorrow, shoka moha rupi samsara. It removes once and for all by along with its root, it uproots my samsara. What is the root of my samsara? Ignorance. So it uproots my samsara. That is what was said in the 15th chapter. isn't it? Uprooting the tree of samsara by this knowledge, jnana asina, with the asi or with the sword or with the axe of knowledge. What knowledge? This knowledge. That I am that Brahman, which is the adhishtanam of this entire universe, manifest universe. So the one who knows it where? Hridaya Guhayam. The one who sees that Brahman as that consciousness which is constantly spuranam, that which is constantly spurantam consciousness, that which is constantly pulsating in me as aham asmi, that consciousness I am, which is nothing other than this Brahman. A person who understands this once and for all, here and now, dissolves the samsara by uprooting the entire samsara with its very root, which is nothing but avidya. So, avidya granthim vikirati. He destroys or cuts open the avidya granthi forever. Will it not come back again? If the avidya granthi is cut, it is once for all and it is not going to come back again. So, what is the last verse talking about? It is talking about there is nothing other than Brahman, and it brings in the last two lines Mahavakya Vichara, that I am nothing other than this Brahman. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Saha Avidya Granthim Vikirati Iha. Hey Somya, hey Shisha, you asked for that knowledge by knowing which everything is known. Isn't it? That's what you wanted to know. That was your question, your pariprashna with which you came. So, what is it by knowing which everything is known? It is Brahman. Because what is Brahman? That is the adhishtanam of this entire universe. What is this Brahman? The universe is nothing but Brahman. This entire universe is Purusha eva idam sarvam. Brahma eva idam sarvam. You know that Brahman, you have known everything. And you know that Brahman to be this aham asmi iti, that which is constantly there in me. When you know that I am the Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, which is constantly pulsating me in me as aham asmi, is nothing but this Brahman. When I have understood this once and for all, here and now, I am free from samsara. This is what is called as moksha. This is what is called as moksha. And this vidya, which frees me from this, lives and lives of samsara, is that vidya, which is paravidya, which was talked about in the first section of this. And this is what is called as the Mahavakya Vichara. With this, the first section of the second Mundaka is over. So out of the sections, we have completed 3 sections. That means what? We have completed 50% of Mundakopanishad. We have completed. Now, we'll start the second section also. Now, the second section of the second Mundaka. So, if you take only the sections, the fourth, actually, we are now coming to the fourth section. This section again talks in detail about that Brahman itself, which was talked about in the first khanda. Now you may ask, why is the Upanishad talking again and again about the same thing? So, what is said is Durvigneyatvat, because the topic of Brahman is so subtle, difficult to understand. Even for a well prepared mind, it is very difficult to understand. Drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibihi. We saw that in Katopanishad. It is only agraya buddhya, a very sharp intellect, a well prepared intellect, a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikari's intellect, an intellect which has been absolutely well prepared by karma yoga and upasana yoga, and of course matured by following all the amanitvadi values. Such an intellect is capable of understanding this. But most of us are Madhyama Adhikaris. How many of us are Uttama Adhikaris here? To understand something like, like cotton catching fire, or, Karpuram catching fire, that kind of buddhi, how many of us have? We don't. We are all mumukshus. But for whatever reason, we don't have enough of preparation of the mind. We are all Madhyama Adhikaris. And therefore, the Upanishad has to talk about the same thing again and again. There is no punarukti here. There is no repetition here, but the idea is repeated. Words are not repeated. The idea is repeated in different words. Why? Because the Upanishad feels that from different angles, from different points of view, with different examples, with different imageries, with different symbolic things, if this is explained, it will be understood very well. And in this section also, the Upanishad is trying to do the same thing. What is it doing? In this section, we'll find one of the most beautiful imageries or the symbolic way of teaching called using Dhanur Vidya. One of the, I'll explain that as we come, one of the most beautiful, imageries. In Mundaka Upanishad, there are two beautiful imageries. One is this archery example. The other is the Dvasuparna, two birds example. These two are beautiful imageries to understand what the Upanishad is talking about, the nature of Brahman. What kind of an imagery did we see in Kathopanishad? Ratha Kalpana. Do you remember how the whole body was compared to a Ratha, and the Buddhi was compared to the Sarathi, the Jiva was compared to the Ratha Swami, and there was almost 5, 6, 7 verses which are talking about the journey of the Ratha Swami, journey of the Jiva. And in Mundakopanishad, here there are two imageries which are very well known and famous for explaining this subtle thing of Brahman. The Nyayam, Brahman is Nyayam. Nyayam yattat pravakshyami, Krishna said in the 13th chapter. I'm going to talk to you about this Nyayam, but it is subtle, susukshmatvat, very, very subtle. Durvigneyatvat, not easy to understand. Doesn't mean that we should give up the effort. Okay, just because it is difficult to understand, we should not give up the effort. We have to try, we have to spend more time on it, we have to listen again and again. Then it becomes easier. Drishyate tu agriyaya buddhya. How do we sharpen our intellect? By going through this again and again and again. That is how we sharpen. No other way. We have to sharpen our intellects to understand this in the same way. So now, in this verse, in this section, in the second section of the second Mundaka, the first two verses are talking about Brahman being the Vivarta Upadana Karanam, or the very Swarupam of Brahman is being talked about here. And what is the term used by Mundakopanishad for Brahman? Aksharam. Aksharam Brahma, imperishable. Aksharam. Aksharam is the word used for Brahman in Kathopanishad. Okay, Purusha was used by Kathopanishad. Also, Brahman was used, Atma. All these are Paryaya Padas. Ishvara, Brahman, Purusha, all these, Satta, Sat, Chit, Ananda Swarupa. All these are, the terms used for Atma, Brahman, consciousness, existence, Brahman. So now, the first mantra talks about this Brahman itself. What is the nature of this Brahman? And where is this Jagat existing in relationship to Brahman, which we already saw? But since it is difficult to understand that this whole Jagat is nothing but Brahman, it is trying to explain again in the first two verses as to the relationship between the world and Brahman. Is Brahman related to the world in any way? Actually speaking, no, because Brahman is the Paramarthika Satyam and the Jagat is Vyavaharika Satyam. That is why Lord Krishna said in the ninth chapter, Matsthani Sarva Bhutani. All the jivas exist in me. And then he said, Nachamatstani Bhutani. Really speaking, they don't exist in me because though this whole world exists in me, Brahman, I am untouched by it. Na lipyate. Okay, no karma touches me. The world does not touch me, though it is in me. It is projected in me. Therefore, I am Asanga Atma. Everything is in me, but I am Asanga. Like when I dream, the whole dream world is in me, but the dream world doesn't touch me in any way. The whole movie is projected on the screen, but this movie does not touch the screen in any way. The mirage is projected upon the desert sand, but the mirage water does not affect the sand in any way. Similarly, the whole universe is a mere appearance in me, the Brahman, which does not afflict me in any way because I am the higher order of reality. Aham asanga atma asmi. Asangatvam of Atma or Brahman. That is the reason why, though the whole world is there cannot be separated from Brahman, the world does not afflict Brahman in any way. Why? Because this Brahman or me, the Atma, is nothing but consciousness principle. Matter principle cannot touch the consciousness principle, and that is what is going to be told about the very nature of this Brahman in the first verse. So we'll read the first verse, mantra 1 of the second khanda of the second mundaka. Avihi sannihitam guhacharam nama महत्पदम् अत्रैतत्समर्पितं ये जत्प्राणनिमिषच्च यदेतज्जानथ सदसद्वरेण्यं परं विज्ञानाद्वरिष्ठं प्रजानाम्. So he's saying here that this Brahman is of the nature of what? Avihi. What is the meaning of Avihi? Self-shining light of consciousness. Consciousness, Brahman, Atma, does not require anything else to reveal it. Brahman or Atma is self-revealing. It is the light of consciousness. Therefore, now he talks about this Brahman as Atma. Again, all Mahavakyas you will find in this whole section, you will find nothing but Mahavakyas. What's a Mahavakya? That which equates this Jiva with Ishvara. That which says, that which makes me understand that I, this consciousness, is non-separate from Brahman. So this whole section we'll find nothing but Mahavakya, the same Brahman being described as Atma or the light of consciousness. Avihi, self-revealing light of consciousness. That's why we say, Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Bhaswarupa, bhasura, bhaswarupa. That which is of the nature of shining, revealing awareness. Shining, revealing, knowing, which reveals itself, which reveals everything else. I know means what? I am, I know. I know you. First I am, aham. Then I know you, idam. I know you. So where is this aham coming from? It is the Atma which says I the knower. And where is this idam coming from? Whatever is known in the Jagat. Therefore, Avihi, the light of consciousness, which reveals the knower me and the known world. Avihi. Where is it? Sannihitam, that which is closest to me. Sannihitam means what? Very near, closest to me. It's not away from me. That means Atma or Brahman is so close, I don't have to look anywhere else for it. Sannihitam, that which is closest to me. Where is it available? It is available everywhere. But because of its subtlety, I am not able to objectify it and put my finger on that and say, this is Brahman. When everything is Brahman, how can I say this is Brahman? And when everything is Brahman, it is so subtle that how do I perceive it? I have to see it as that very I in me. So he says, Sannihitam, that which is closest to me, that which is me, that which is me. Upanishad, where does it come from? Upa, that which is closest to me, nearest to me. Ni, Nishchaya Jnanam, the Nishchaya Jnanam of that which is closest to me. That is the meaning of Upa and Ni in Upanishad. And what does that do? That Nishchaya Jnanam, that clear knowledge of that which is nearest, closest to me, what does it do? It vikirati avidya granthim. So it literally removes my samsara. That is the meaning of Upanishad. That is the meaning of Shad. That knowledge, the clear knowledge of the self, that which is nearest to me is myself, which completely resolves my samsara. What we saw in the previous verse. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. What happens? Avidya Granthim Vikirati Iha. Iha, here. Not later after death. Now. Now it releases me from my samsara, my ajnanam. So he says, Avihi Sannihitam. Where can I avail it? Where can I actually have the upalabdhi of that which is everywhere? You don't have to go far away. Sannihitam Guhacharam Nama. That which is available within my Hridaya Guha, in my buddhi. As what? As that consciousness behind every thought. Aham janami. I know, I know. I means knowledge. When I say I, it means I know, I am aware of. So Guhacharam Nama. That which is all the time in my Hridaya Guha, this consciousness, this light of consciousness, which is revealing itself, also revealing everything else outside me. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. So Guhacharam Nama, that which is behind every thought, every cognition, that which says, I know, I know, I know. Millions of times in a day, whenever I cognize anything, I say, I know. I don't have to say it, but I know that I know. When I don't know something, I know that I don't know. So, what is it that knows that I know? What is it that knows that I don't know? It is that consciousness behind every cognition. I know cognition, I don't know cognition also. That consciousness behind every cognition which is happening in my buddhi. Where is the cognition happening? Where do I cognize anything? Where am I aware of anything? It is in buddhi. Therefore, buddhi guhayam guhacharam nama. It is known as guhacharam. Nama means known as guhacharam. Why guhacharam? That which is constantly available behind every cognition in this Hridaya Guha. Guhacharam Nama. There is another Upanishad called Kena Upanishad. We are now in Bhashya Patana, Bhashya Parayana, we are doing that Kena Upanishad. In that we'll find Pratibodha Viditam Matam, it is said. Pratibodha Viditam. Bodham Bodham Prati. That means what? Bodham means cognition. Bodham Bodham Prati. Behind every cognition, this consciousness is there. Therefore, it is called Guhacharam Nama. In the Hridaya Guha, in the Buddhi Guha, every cognition is backed by this light of consciousness. Mahat Padam Atra Yetat Samarpitam. Mahat Padam. What is this Mahat Padam? That is the most, Mahat means most exalted. Mahat Padam. Padam also means the adhishtanam of everything. The most exalted and the very adhishtanam or the support of whatever is there, Mahat Padam. Atra yetat samarpitam. Atra yetat samarpitam means where everything is placed. The whole universe is placed in Brahman. The whole universe of every name and form, including this body, mind, sense complex, is dependent on this Atma consciousness for its existence. So, Mahatpadam Yetat Atra Yetat Sarvam Yatra Yetat Samarpitam. Yetat means what? Here, everything that is seen, every name and form, the entire universe, yetat, this entire Vishwam, samarpitam. That is the most exalted Mahar Padam, the very Adhishtanam, in which yetat sarvam samarpitam. Yetat samarpitam means everything is as though Samarpanam, it is Samarpitam, means what? It is entirely dependent upon this exalted one and the only Adhishtanam. There are no many Adhishtanams, only one Adhishtanam. Then, what is do you mean by Yetat Samarpitam? What is this world consisting of? Yejat Pranat Nimishat. That which is moving, Yejat, that which is moving, okay? Pranat, that which is breathing, okay? Nimishat, that which is that jivas which are opening and closing their eyes. See, there can be moving things without prana, correct? Like Vayu is moving without prana, correct? We have that. So you may have something moving without prana. So anything which is moving, yejat, okay, of course, then pranat. Plants are moving. Though limited, they are moving. Animals are moving. Human beings are moving. They are moving also, they are breathing also. Then there are different types of jivas, especially some of the jivas, human beings, animals, and some others, they open and close their eyes, which is a sign of life also. So, all kinds of living beings are talked about here. Yejat includes living beings also, non-living moving things also. Yejat, like Vayu. Okay, Yejat, that which is moving. Pranat, that which is breathing, all the jivas that are breathing. Nimishat, those which are jivas which are opening and closing their eyes. Cha, sadasad, that means what? This, you know, Atman or Brahman, which is the Adhishtanam of things with form and without form. Here, Sat and Asat does not mean Satya Mithya. Here, Sat and Asat means Murta Prapancha and Amurta Prapancha. Sat means Murta Prapancha. Asad means Amurta Prapancha. Murta means with form. Amurta means without form. So all things with form, without form, moving things, non-living things, moving and living things, breathing things, things or jivas which are opening and closing their eyes, everything is here. And what is it? Varenyam. Sad asad, varenyam. Sad asad, varenyam. Varenyam means what? Varenyam means it is actually something which is worshipable. Worshipable. That thing which has to be chosen by us as the goal. Varenyam. Varadam means what? Choosing. This is the only thing which is worth choosing in life. That's what Upanishad says. We have all other choices, we choose so many things, but here the Upanishad saying Varenyam. It is Varenyam. That's the only thing which is worth choosing to know. Because it ultimately, this is the only thing which frees me from samsara. All other things keep me bound in samsara. They make me come back again and again and again. They make me come back into this samsara with different problems every time. Every time I come back, it's a different problem. Only the problems are different, experiences are different, body is different. But nothing really changes. So, Varenyam, that is the only thing most worshipful, and that which has to be chosen as the most chosen goal of all human beings should be this. Therefore, ye tad janatha. May you know, may you all know. He's telling all of us, the Upanishad Guru, may you know this. Ye tad janatha. That means what? May you all know this Brahman. That it is the most venerable thing, that which is the most worthy of knowing. Doesn't mean we should not know other things. No. Upanishad does not say, our scriptures don't say that you be an ignorant person. No, it does not say that. Have enough of knowledge for you to function properly in the world, no problem. But understand that that is not your ultimate goal. They're all smaller goals, intermediate goals. Artha, Kama, Dharma, or just, intermediate Purusharthas. But the ultimate Purushartha is the Moksha Purushartha. And Moksha Purushartha is got only by the knowledge of this Brahman. That is why it is the most worshipable, most desirable goal for any human being. Human, because no other animal or plant, wants moksha from samsara. Though they are bound, they do not know. But we want, we can, we have a choice of wanting to get out of this samsara. So he says, Sadasadvarenyam yetha janata. And what is this? Param Vig, Prajanam Vijnanad Varishtam. Prajanam Vijnanad Varishtam. This is that knowledge which is of the highest knowledge. All the other branches of knowledge, Prajanam Vijnanad. Prajanam Vijnanad means what? All the knowledge that I have got. Vijnanam means the knowledge which I have. Prajanam Vijnanam means what? All that which I have got by perception, by my pratyaksha pramana and all these pramana, perception and inference and projection. This is Vijnanam, correct? I see something, then I come to a conclusion by direct perception. So pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, arthapatti pramana. So that is my knowledge, my Vijnanam. I try to understand the world by these pramanas, whatever are available to me. That is my knowledge right now, the knowledge of the world. But he says, Prajanam Vijnanat Param Varishtam. Varishtam means it is free from all limitations. All the other knowledge which I have is limited, whereas this Atma Jnanam is free from limitations. It frees me from all limitations. So Prajanam Vijnanat Varishtam, the highest knowledge, Param, the highest. Yetad Janata. May you know this. For what? Avidya Granthim Vikiriti Iha. For completely getting out once and all from this samsara. So we'll stop with this and take up the next verses in the coming sessions. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. ॐ तत्सत्.